Right now we're going to an estate sale because we're going to go look at a 1962 220S for our friend. Marie, write down all the, if you can, we'll make note of all the obvious stuff.
Okay.
Door seals. We're definitely going to have to do some metal work in the bottoms of the driver door.
Right.
All the really important parts of this car are very solid. All the parts that are difficult to repair. But now we have to check the floor pans.
And then I left here. For 2 years, I graduated in '83. I asked why because we had several guys that left here to go to UK. Fred Harvey, football there, and then of course Michael Cordova.
Oh my.
He left here. He was
Dead
at
animals.
Dead animals? What kind of dead animals?
Mice.
Oh, dead mice. That's pretty typical. This interior is just beautiful though. Needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Perfect dash. Perfect seats.
Other things that live in here too. Hornets. Mud daubers. I wouldn't say they're perfect. I'd say they're quite good.
They're definitely reusable.
There's some chewing marks from rats right there. See that?
See if I can get a little closer.
Okay, now this AC system. Right. Line's going to the carburetors are original, so that's good.
Can you speak up?
The lines going to the carburetors are original. We're probably going to have to do some work to these AC hoses, but
Most of them all need work. That are a lot newer, younger than this.
generally speaking, everything I need is here.
Okay, cool. So we have a complete engine here on this 220S.
Yes, and it's free. It actually spins.
Can you show where to spin it?
Well, one would usually use the fan to turn it.
Okay.
This might be a big mistake. This is the heater fan right here. It's actually free. But if you look in there, there's the original paint color.
Uh-oh.
Which is very similar to this.
Okay, so we're good on the color, which
You're
looks
good.
like Horizon Blue.
It is. It is Horizon Blue.
Do you know what the paint code number would be for this? It is an early.
304.
So G304.
304. So the paints are very close to match. I'd love to see how it would do once it was cleaned up. The accelerator linkage moves freely, and it looks like the carburation has not been molested. Of course, the front suspension is dry, so we don't even know what to expect there. The motor mounts are certainly collapsed, but I see some neat things here.
Neat things as in originality or things
Yeah, the
that
car
look like
the car
salvageable?
definitely holds signs of promise. It has a generator on it, which is good. It shows that nobody altered it.
Looks like all the wires still there, and maybe even some are updated.
Yeah, the ignition wires are still in their tube, which is good. It means somebody was being careful when they were putting this together. It almost looks to me like this car's had the updated brake booster installed. So I don't think this car originally had a booster up here. I think it actually had the early booster that was mounted down in the frame. But the conversion looks extremely well done.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing? And
It's a good thing. It's quite beneficial because the early booster was ridiculous. One thing this car does not have is power steering.
okay.
So you might want to let Gerald know that.
Was that here?
This is a non-power steering car.
Okay.
You know, they're not real bad to drive, and you can even add it if you want to, but typically speaking, it's not a really bad thing, but you should know. But see stuff like this. This is an original cotter pin hose clamp right here. You typically don't see these on cars that have been molested, but if you look in here, this is the heater case. You can see that some of the original paint is still present here.
Right.
And it's
Close.
It's very close, yeah. It's actually surprisingly close. I didn't know if it was going to be a mistake to open that or not, but the heater fan is free and it turns. So that's always encouraging.
Hey Scott, sorry to interrupt. Do you have any idea when it was last driven?
I'm sorry?
When the car was last driven, as far as you can remember?
I would say it's probably been at least 8 years ago.
So fairly recent.
Fairly recent.
Yeah. Cool.
The brake calipers might be okay, but I doubt if the rear wheel cylinders would be.
Right. And the one thing my dad did, and you know that from looking at his cars, he wanted everything back original. He
Yeah.
did not-
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think the next step here is to try to figure out roughly what this car is going to need. A lot of the chrome work on this car could be polished back out. It's not pitted beyond repair. You know, it would definitely take some elbow grease, but it could be done. The main thing that I'm worried about would be the condition of the brakes. Also, you know,
And suspension in
dealable.
general.
The thing that we have to remember is this is a really simple car. So all the big stuff is there, and given the fact it was used recently, I don't see it needing anything really ridiculous. But a lot of the rubber parts, if it's made of rubber or if it carries fuel or brake fluid, right. Anyway, all right.
You want to make a list?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna make a list.